Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Leadership Lounge with the CEO magazine. I am Shweta and today we have a very special guest joining us. I'm thrilled to introduce Miss Dheep, who's not just a marathon runner but also an entrepreneur. She is the founder of Hachi, a snacking venture born out of a desire to revolutionize the industry and create snacks that not just feel good but taste good too. This episode is in particular very close to my heart because Miss Dheep is the very first woman to feature on our podcast. And being a woman myself, I am genuinely delighted to have her on the show. So let's just get started. So let's start things off with your professional background. You worked in the finance sector for over a decade, right? What was your experience like?
Well, finance is great. I basically, come from Gujarat. So I was born and brought up in Gujarat, and then I moved to Bombay for my college. After that, I basically started working, and somehow got into the finance field, and then continued there for 10 years. The journey was great. That time we didn't have any sort of digital media and all of that, so the journey was great. When I started working, it was all about fire in the belly. I want to really achieve a lot of things. You start with a lot of energy. I was in first year
Yes.
BCom, so I was 18 years old or something.
Yeah.
And slowly, the energy kind of started going down. I think sometimes corporate life can do this to you.
Yeah. Yes, of
so,
course.
fast forward to my last company where I spent 5 years,
Mhm.
which was a turning point of my career. I learned a lot from there. The importance of building relationships, the importance of discipline, attention to detail, because you're dealing with like clients who have hundreds and crores that they are trusting you with. So I used to
Yeah.
basically, to give you a background, I used to handle their portfolios
Okay.
and recommend on pure wealth management boutique. So recommend what to invest and where to invest, how much to invest across asset classes like equity, debt, private equity, real estate,
Mhm.
and all of that. So it was great. You're dealing with all these clients and you're seeing crores and crores of rupees, but you're also seeing that their actual business is something else. So one of the key lessons that I learned during this time was also that the money should work for you even when you're asleep. Because they didn't have to look into their portfolios since we did,
Yeah.
and the money kept multiplying. And look at the compounding effect that can be there when you have like 100 crores, and even a
Yes.
15% returns is like massive.
Yeah.
So yeah, these were a couple of things. Networking was one. I think here's something that I didn't take advantage of when I was working. I kind of kept to my work, but networking is a great thing. So today, in hindsight, I feel that that's something every person should do, no matter they are 18, 19, or they are 30, 40, whatever. I think everybody should spend time in networking.
Okay. I was going through your profile and I read that you have got quite the passion for running marathons. So,
Yeah.
being in finance, how does marathon came into picture? Like there were
Mhm.
I mean, there must have been some point that you decided that, okay, I have to do this. So just I wanted to understand what was that.
I think running started with me wanting to challenge myself physically and mentally. So
Yeah.
I remember I had just joined this company and they had this CSR activity or something where they were sponsoring employees for marathons to basically uh, show or basically have a shift towards a healthier,
Yeah.
life.
Mm-hmm.
And I just enrolled for a 21 kilometer. So I remember one of my colleagues at that time told me, "Are you mad? I don't think you can do it."
Yes.
So he kind of challenged me in a manner that I went like, "Now I'll show you." So
Okay.
and all of this happened without training. Back then in 2012 or 13 when I did my first marathon, I had
Mm-hmm.
absolutely no idea that it requires me to be fit, or it requires me to train for at least 6 months if I want to do
Yes.
a distance which is 21 kilometers from Bandra
Yeah.
to CST. right? It was
Okay.
almost like that. From Worli to CST. I'm sorry, I think from Worli to CST. So I think it just started like that. And obviously, I took a lot of time finishing my first marathon. I think I took what 3 hours, 45 minutes or so, which is considered even slower than a slowest runner at that time. But basically, what I'm trying to say is the journey started at that time when I saw myself mentally so strong that even though my body had given up, as you know, I had no level of fitness from my childhood. I've not been somebody who is great or has a very athletic body or energy levels or something. So I was just a very like normal person. So I think when I completed that, there was a sense of achievement. And then I went back the next year to do it. And then I went back the next year. And then I think there was just no stopping.
I
So
mean,
that's how it
yes,
started. Yeah.
yes, it took you 3.5 hours or more than that, but at least you completed 21 kilometers. That's a feat in itself. Okay. You were into finance. Okay. And you were, if I have seen your profile, so the company that you were working with, I hope that it was a high paying job. The
Yeah.
decision to leave a job, that too a well paid one, and venture into entrepreneurship is never an easy one, right? So there are so many uncertainties associated with starting a business. There are so many
Hmm.
steps and processes that you have to follow. Also, the security that you are getting a paycheck at the end of the month, that goes away the moment you leave a job. So what
Yeah.
motivated what motivated you to take the leap, and what was the transition like in the initial days?
Yeah. So I was very well settled in my
Yeah.
job. I think I had a very stable career,
Hmm.
and the perks were good. The salary was great. We would do like one international trip a year. We would do multiple outings. All that was good. No complaints at all. The work was good. With God's grace, everything was good. But sooner or later, I think there is a point when you realize that there's something missing. Like there's something lacking,
Yeah.
and you don't know what it is. For me, I think 3 years before quitting my job, I did get a sense, and this was the period that I was into running already. So I did get a sense that there's something missing. What do I want to do? Like, what is lacking? And what I found was that I want to create an impact in people's lives, impact empowering people's lives, etc. And that was not happening with my work. I was making the rich richer. I was dealing with all the like top clients of India. So making the rich richer was not something that would make me feel good at the end of the day. In
Yeah.
the sense that what about majority of our population? Like those are the lives I want to impact.
Yeah.
Now the shocking thing here is that I wanted to impact lives, but if you ask me, did I know what I want to do? Did I know how will I do it? The answer to that is no. I had absolutely no idea what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? I had absolutely no idea about it. But so what running taught me, in this period, I think by then it was 3 years or so, 3 or 4 years that I was running. So what it taught me was about being really honest to myself, like deeply, truly. And I think that gave me the courage to reason it out with myself that it's fine. You don't know what you want to do, but you do know that you will not enjoy doing what you're doing for the next 20 years, 10 years, or 50 years, or whatever. So it's just
Yeah.
important to, when you realize something is wrong and you don't have a solution, but at least you can take a step and get out of that situation. I think that's all I did. And actually the way it happened was that I was training for my first 42-kilometer marathon at that time. And I used to do a lot of 10-kilometer runs on a regular basis. One such time, early in the morning at 5 or 5:30, I was running on my usual road in Matunga, and it was really dark. My friends are usually faster than me, when we run. And I was just running, and I was damn boring to kind of take loops, go round and round because 10 kilometers
Yes.
not a small
Hmm.
distance.
Hmm.
And then I said, okay, let me just go on the main road. Let me just take longer routes, etc.
Hmm.
I'm usually very afraid of darkness. I'm usually very afraid of dogs. And I just thought to myself that if I can at 5:30 in the morning, when it's so dark, I can go into these unknown roads,
Yeah.
these unknown paths, and without any fear of dogs, without any fear of darkness, I am managing to do this. So why can't I just look at a shift in my professional career? Why can't I do that if I can do this? And I think that's what gave me the courage to, go back to work and write my resignation and take off.
Okay. So one very common trend that we see is when people start something of their own, it is mainly within the sector they are already working in. Because they have prior experience and they know what works and what doesn't. When you started your business, you shifted into snack industry, which is entirely different from
Mm.
finance. So what drew you to this sector and what was the
Mm.
decision making process like?
Well, yeah. So I'll tell you, I have been such a foodie for the longest time. I
Okay.
love food. I have experimented. I have eaten all sorts of food, vegetarian though. So there was already a phase where I had started moving towards health, right? Because of all the physical activity exercises I was doing, I had already moved in the direction of health. Now, what I was realizing here was that I'm already treating my body as a temple, and I'm very conscious of what goes into my body. So now, when I go to the market and I buy some foods, I buy some snacks, etc. While they
Yeah.
look really appealing on the front of the pack, when you
Hmm.
turn it behind, there are all sorts of INS 31, INS 32, all sorts of preservatives which are there.
Yeah.
We mentioned ragi, but when you turn it behind, there's more maida in it than ragi. So
Yes.
that kind of rang a bell that uh, where is it that we have things in the good for you category? Is it only that if I want to have something healthy, I need to go to a restaurant where it's freshly cooked, and in which case I don't even know what oils they are using. So
Yeah.
and also I saw that there were products which were healthy, which were
Hmm.
genuinely healthy. There were these kind of products too, but they were not tasty. And being a foodie, taste is first for me.
Yeah.
Then we also saw that though healthy is not tasty, when it's tasty, it's not healthy. So that kind of rang a bell, and I said that no, we need to do something about it. And to be very honest, the inspiration of Hachi kind of started coming to me on its own. So I believe a lot in doing the hard work, focusing on the
Hmm.
journey, not on the destination, and then just surrendering. You surrender for the results. You
Yeah.
don't rush behind it. Like you don't run behind it. You don't be very aggressive that I want this. So I believe in the journey, and I've seen the results come back to me. So this is how basically Hachi Foods started, and we started with granola as a category because I mean tasty, and I wanted to be very crunchy, etc. So we literally started with like what, one flavor or three flavors at a time, and then we kind of slowly moved.
And currently, I think you are offering cakes and all sort of things.
Yeah, yeah. So
So,
we
do
have
you deliver
so
only in
granola is our hero
Mumbai?
product. No, we deliver pan India, pan
Okay.
India. But yeah, of
Okay.
course, cakes are something that
Yeah.
can't be delivered. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So starting and building a company comes with its fair share of challenges. What
Hmm.
challenges did you face in the process, and were there any specific challenges that you came across as a woman entrepreneur? Because let's be realistic, we live in a country that still thinks that
Hmm.
business is a man's job.
I think I agree with you. So, see, the whole shift from finance to food, it sounds kind of, but I think when you kind of make up your mind, it's
Mm.
it's not that difficult. I'm not saying that I didn't face challenges. I did face a lot of challenges because when I started, there was nobody. There's no funding, there's no money. What do you do? So you basically do all the things by yourself. And when I started costing, distribution, marketing, social media. Like there were so many things which kind of really became overwhelming. And that time, actually, I was the person who would also bake the granola myself. So
Okay.
you're doing the production, you're doing the packaging, you're doing the
Yeah.
operations, you're doing the administration, you're talking to the clients, you're dispatching the orders, you're taking care of logistics, you're doing everything. So I think procurement is something where some of the initial challenges were there because our MOQs, our quantities were so low that people didn't want to kind of cater to it. You're right that about women entrepreneurs, that, people who usually have this notion that they are
Yeah.
only kind of, in terms of business, they're only kind of as good as home kitchens or home bakeries, but they are
Hmm.
not so passionate. They're doing it only in their spare time. And I think
Yeah.
this kind of approach or this kind of perspective, kind of really makes me feel that we need to have people with a broader mindset, or
Yes,
maybe
of
have people who
course.
mind their own business and not interfere into people's business. I mean, it has to be
Yeah.
one of these,
Hmm.
right? So I'll tell you, when I started out. So there used to be my friends who would ask me whenever I would meet them for my run or something. There's this one friend of mine who asked me, "So how much granola did you make, or how many bottles did you make yesterday?" To maybe, I think, in a couple of months or something, when I bumped into him or I met him again, he
Yeah.
asked me, "So how is the business going, Deep?" And that shift
Yeah.
was amazing. The same person,
Hmm.
male counterpart,
Yeah.
looking at it as somebody who's just kind of doing it like that. And to be
Hmm.
honest, I never actually, I'm not a person who believes in doing things side by side. Like, if I'm in it, I'm in it 100%. So even when there was no work, even when there were no clients, there was no brand, nothing, I would go, I would get out of the house, I would go to my space, and I would be there from morning 10 to evening 8. And I would do
Hmm.
something or the other. I would do research, I would read about something, but it's not like I'd just sit and do time pass. So that really matters. And yeah, there were a lot of guys who didn't take us seriously. We had to do packaging, we had to do very low quantities, like as low as maybe 200 or 300. We had to, procure dry fruits and all of that. And we were almost getting it at retail prices back then.
Yeah.
And we were like, retail prices, meaning we can't price our granola at 600 and 700 rupees, because the costing was going just haywire. So, but I think you take a little hit. You basically decide, you make decisions on what is your priority, what do you want to look after first. It's a lot of hustle in the start. It's crazy hustle, but you do it because you're focusing on the journey. You do it because it's gonna give you the results. What you put in is what you
Yeah.
get.
So sit here at this time, looking back at your journey from corporate roles to marathons and entrepreneurship. How have you evolved as an individual?
There's been lots of changes in me as an individual. I think I have these phases where I change as a person. Back then, and I must give you this example.
Hmm.
Sometime in 2000 and I don't know, 13, 14, or 15, I don't know, when I was working,
Yeah.
I used to be very low on confidence. So there used to be these Monday meetings that we had in office,
Hmm.
where we had a massive conference room, and
Yeah.
I think 30, 40 of us would kind of be a part of that, sitting around the
Hmm.
table. I
Yes.
would enter 9:30 meeting. So I think I would enter at 9:30 and go and pick the last seat, the corner seat, from the conference table as well, little away, like
Hmm.
right in the corner.
Hmm.
And just so that I didn't want anybody to see me. I wanted to kind of stay hidden. I didn't want anybody to notice me or ask me my opinion, my view, my perspective, questions about whatever they were presenting or anything. So I would just pick the corner seat. This was some time, I think, before I really got into uh, properly running, and that whole spiritual journey that running took me on, to be honest.
Yeah. Hmm.
From sitting in the corner, not opening my mouth, not asking questions, wanting to be hidden. From
Yeah.
there to, I got myself to sitting right next to the presenter on the table, and asking the most stupidest questions that come to my mind. So that was the journey from that corner of the table to literally the first seat where the presenter is there,
Yeah.
and just being myself, not bothering about what will people think. I don't know, and I'm just asking because I want to know about it, and it's okay. So I think this is something, a lot of courage and confidence I got through running. And otherwise, I think it's really, the way it's transitioned and evolved me as a person, made my willpower very strong, has really helped me build my mental muscle. Earlier, I used
Hmm.
to focus on problems a lot. If there's a problem, I'd be like, oh my God, this is a problem, and I'd take it to my manager or something. Or if there's something in the personal life too, I'm like, okay, this is a problem. Like, and we are stuck. This is the problem.
Yeah.
But I think with running, what happens is you can't, like, you learn to find solutions. Now
Hmm.
imagine a time. where you're running, you want to run a 10 kilometer from, what is that? India Gate. You want to run a 10 kilometer on the India Gate stretch, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Mm.
you started, and in 3 kilometers, you start feeling very tired because it starts to get really hot, really humid,
Yeah.
and you feel low on energy because you haven't slept well in the night, and now your legs are paining and everything.
Mm.
And you finished the water that you're carrying, and obviously you can't get water from anywhere else. So what do?
Mm.
You have two options: either you give up, take a taxi or an auto, go back to where you started from,
Mm.
or you trick your mind and continue, finish what you started,
Yeah.
right? You find solutions, you talk to yourself, and you change your, you trick your mind into feeling good about yourself at
Mm.
that time. You will automatically start feeling hydrated. And the
Yeah.
same thing now, okay, look at in running business. I'll
Mm.
give you one example where it was a disaster. I think it was the first pop-up event that I had signed up for. I was the only employee I had, actually. And the
Okay.
guy told me that the pop-up event is in like 5 days. Can you manage it? Now, here's the thing. I don't have a single employee, anybody. Okay, I don't have a single person with me. I just
Mm.
have some recipes, and I don't have a single equipment. I don't have branding. I don't have Hachi labels. I don't have Hachi written anywhere. So how does it even
Okay.
exist as a brand right now? So what happened was I hired a chef, and told him that so and so is the case. You'll need to kind of come. I had worked with him before, and he agreed. He's like, sure, I'll do all the making of the stuff and everything. And
Mm.
one day before the event, when he's supposed to show up at 4 p.m. at my place, I'm calling him continuously. I'm calling him like furiously. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And he just sends me a voice note. 4 he's supposed to reach. 4:45 he sends me a voice note. Sorry, madam, nahi aa raha. Yeah, that's it. And around this time, Shweta, I had called five because I had to train them. They're like, per day basis because the
Mm.
business wasn't there. It was just a 2 day event. So I had
Mm.
somehow arranged these boys without kind of any background. I somehow spoke to a few people, found some boys, and told them, one day we'll give you so much money. You come and do this. Come to the office. I'll train you on how it's supposed to be done, and this is what you do.
Mm.
So they are waiting there. Five boys over here are waiting for me to give them the training. I don't have the menu ready, nothing. Here's this chef who's supposed to make so much for us,
Mm.
like in terms of production, is telling me that sorry, madam, nahi aa raha hai. And he's not
Mm.
picking up the calls. And now there are five people on my head that label ka kya karna hai, sticker hai, where do we get it printed, what do I do, etc., etc.
Mm.
So it was crazy. Now here I have two options. First option is cancel the event, give up. Why take so much
Yeah.
stress, right?
Yeah. The easy
And
one.
this, yeah, easy one. The second
Yeah.
option is find an alternative, right?
Mm.
In running, I found an alternative, right? I just tricked my mind. Find an
Mm.
alternative. Now, without having much contacts, whatever basic contacts I had back then, I called up a few chefs and somehow arranged another a chef. I said, "You be
Mm.
there. I'm coming to pick you up. You be right there where you are. I'm coming to pick you up." That's the amount of anxiety and stress I had at that time when I was just starting out. So, but the point is problem solving. Like you're so
Yeah.
resilient. You become so resilient that you will just not give up. You'll always
Mm.
find solutions.
Okay. Our conversation has been so great so far, and it was really nice talking to you. And as we are nearing the end of our conversation, there are few questions that I would love to get your thoughts on. Okay. So for those out there who are thinking about making a similar transition from corporate jobs to starting something of their own, what advice would you offer them?
I would actually say it's a great thought and it gives you a lot of fulfillment and satisfaction. But just take a calculative call.
Hmm.
The first thing would be to kind of speak to a few founders, whether they are in your industry or they are in other industry. You need to have a mixed batch of people you speak to,
Yeah.
and it's not difficult to get in
Yeah.
touch with founders. We have
Yeah.
all ways now. You have LinkedIn, Google,
Hmm.
Instagram, whatever. It's
Hmm.
easy to get in touch with them and be ready for rejection because not everybody is going to just
True.
agree to
Yeah.
kind of speak to you. Yeah, everyone's
Hmm.
busy in their lives now. What's in it for them?
Hmm.
But keep at it. Speak to a few founders and go prepared with relevant questions. Relevant questions is very important. Otherwise, it's just going to be like an overview. of,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good journey. Sometimes this is going to be the problem. You need to actually understand the problem statement of that person, the journey, the kind of problems they faced, how they came out of those, something
Yeah.
that you can learn from their mistakes so you don't make them.
Mm.
The first thing is that you need to ask deeper questions and be really clear on what you want to do, but at the same
Yeah.
time be open to pivots. Sometimes you're married to our idea, and this is a
Yeah.
great idea, and I think it's going to do really well, and you start it, but you see it not doing well. You need to be open to change. You can't be married to it. You can't be closed about it. So be clear on what you want to do, but at the same time be open to transitioning, to changing, to pivoting to something else if you find that this is what it is. Financial is also very crucial. It depends
Yes.
on people at what stage they are in their life. For me, I think I feel, when I kind of made this shift, I was 30, right? So, and
Okay.
10 years I was already working, 10 or 12, I think, years I was already working. So for me,
Mm.
I had a stable income, good amount of savings, which I could bet on for a few years.
Yes.
So just that kind of helped. I wouldn't recommend anybody to kind of just go all out, because see, what's also important, no, Shweta, is our mental health, right?
Yeah.
If we go all out, anxiety, depression, stress, a lot of these things can happen because it's not going to be an easy journey.
Yeah.
So I think that's something on the financials. If you're sorting a few things out, and
Yeah.
then you go all in, you don't do like a side hustle. If you can't give 100% to something, it's not going to flourish. It's only going to flourish to an extent that you've given it time and importance. Aapne 50% diya, that's what it's going to give you back.
Yes.
But if you really wanted to flourish, you need to be all in into whatever you do, and
Mm.
be very, very, very clear that you have to have belief in yourself. Self belief is very, very important, because there are tons of people who are going to break you. There are tons of situations that will break you. People will break you. Situations will break you. So having the belief and kind of being really, having a strong willpower, wanting to go ahead, no matter what, pushing forward, no matter what, until you reach where you set out to do. Focus on the journey, not on the destination, but keep pushing forward. So self belief is really important. And if this is not there now, I wouldn't kind of recommend that.
Yes.
I would say that you first start working on the self belief. And how you get self belief is also important. I think for me, sports gave me a lot of belief in myself, lot of belief in myself. As in when you see yourself winning, as in when you see yourself achieving one small
Yeah.
goal after the other, that gave me a lot of self belief. For somebody else, it could be something else. Maybe, I don't know, maybe reading books, getting the
Mm.
knowledge. Sometimes it could be having mentors and, being mentored. That could give you. For some, it could be like, proper therapy. For some, it could be something else. But whatever it is, whatever the mode is
Okay.
is the thing, is the magical thing. So yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
So as we are sitting here together, it has been what, how many years since you started? Like you started in
It's
around
been
20,
4 years.
yeah, 2020
Yeah,
you started.
2020, 4 years. One
Yeah.
year kind of, I discounted because we pivoted. So we had also
Yeah.
started with another
Mm-hmm.
business idea, and then I kind of pivoted from there. So one year kind of
Okay.
went in that. So you can say three
Mm-hmm.
years, 3 years in proper business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as we are sitting here today, what are your plans for the, let's say 5 years from now? Where do you see
Hmm.
Hachi? And that's such a
I
unique
want
name also. Yeah.
I want to see Hachi in every household. I want to see people start their day with. I want to see them end their day with Hachi snacks, because we have put in a lot of thought in curating
Yeah.
something that is very versatile, and it can be consumed all around the day, right from breakfast to lunch to evening
Mm.
snack to dinner to dessert as well. Like, you watch Netflix, you sprinkle it up on your ice creams, or something, or just munch on
Yeah.
a granola. um, so I think, yeah, I would really love to. My goal would be to kind of see Hachi in every household. I want to kind of
Yeah.
see people start their days with Hachi.
Okay. Okay. So before we wrap up, I would love to hear
Hmm.
your thoughts on the CEO magazine. It is kind of like how your experience has been with. us? And is there something that you would like to share about us to our audience?
Well, I think the experience has been amazing, Shweta. You guys have been so prompt and so well prepared with everything. It's great, the kind of work that you all are doing by sharing stories of a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners out there, which is inspiring. I'm sure millions of people it's
Yeah,
inspiring, and I know that you won't get the data of it. There's no kind of support, and there is no kind of way to kind of prove it. But I think you're
yeah,
doing great by putting this kind of content out, because there are so many people now who are just looking for that one little push. And
yeah.
for all you know, you could be the one who are helping them push forward. So I think it's great what you're doing.
That, thank you so much for your kind words. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.